Kolsch is a surgeon. He would have had a happy family. His wife is gentle and beautiful. His daughter is cute and understanding. This beautiful everything in his birthday came to an abrupt end. The family was planning to celebrate his birthday when the hospital suddenly called. Corsi had to leave the family to go to the hospital first, but he did not expect that the home has been watched. His wife found the window open and footprints on the floor, and rushed to call out to his daughter, but it was too late. The daughter was under the control of the robbers, and his wife rushed back to the kitchen to find a cell phone and prepare to call the police. The robber appeared with a gun to his daughter's head. She could only meekly put down the phone. The leader of the robbers took his wife upstairs to get money, leaving 2 people to watch her daughter. Unexpectedly, one of them got horny, but was quickly stopped by his accomplice because he didn't want to make trouble and just wanted to get the money and leave quickly. The daughter took the opportunity to cut the robber's face with a knife. The robber hurried to remove the hood in pain, raised the gun ready to kill his daughter. In desperation, the wife picked up boiling water and threw it at the robbers, but this also completely angered them. On the operating table, Kirsch is rescuing patients. From the radio to hear the news of the new wounded, he would not expect that the delivery is his wife and daughter. When he saw his wife again, she was a cold corpse. His daughter was also in a coma with severe head injuries and may never wake up again. The happy family was torn apart overnight. Kirsch blames himself for failing to protect his family and is trapped in guilt. He hopes that the police will bring the murderer to justice soon. But when he came to the police station, there were countless unsolved cases posted on the wall, which made him feel completely desperate. That day he and his wife's father drove to the farm, on the way to meet 2 poachers. Instead of choosing to call the police, the old man picked up his rifle and engaged the poachers in a direct gun battle. He told Corsi that the police would always arrive after the crime. If you want to protect what's yours, then he has to do it himself. Corsi was deeply shaken by these words. That night, he saw 2 gangsters were bullying girls and went up to maintain justice. He didn't expect to be pinned down and beaten up. When he returned home, he saw a gun commercial on TV and had a crazy idea. The next day, he went to the gun store and learned that he had to register with his real name to buy a gun. And with surveillance all around the store, he finally backed out. Perhaps it was fate. This day Kolsch was resuscitating patients. A gun suddenly fell to the ground. He hurriedly hid the gun. Next, he saved people during the day and practiced his gun like crazy at night. He decided to take revenge by himself. He is a poor man. His wife was unfortunately killed by robbers. His daughter seriously injured, coma until now. He went to the police station many times to press for solving the case. However, each time there was no follow-up. Looking at his dying daughter in the hospital bed, he decided not to rely on the police. At night he went out on the street with a gun and came across a robbery. He went up and shouted to stop it. Not expecting the robber to shoot him directly, he pulled out his pistol and shot at the car. The car hit a water pipe and stopped. A robber came down and kept shooting. Corsi saw the right moment to hit a shot. He coldly added the fatal blow. The whole process was filmed by a passerby. The police received a report and only saw a back view in the video. This incident soon caused a huge reaction on the internet. Some people criticized him, while others felt that he was a hero who presided over justice. On this day, the hospital brought in a young boy who was injured. In the process of asking about the injury, Corsi learned of the existence of a bully. This was his next target. Corsi soon came to the bully's territory. The other side ferociously took out a pistol and told him to get lost, but who knew he was more ruthless? This incident once again became a sensation in the city, and Corsi has become the embodiment of justice and an idol in the hearts of many people. Another day, the hospital brought in a young man who had been shot. Corsi noticed that his watch was a gift from his wife on his birthday. He found the young man's cell phone in the ambulance, then went to the morgue and used the young man's finger to unlock the phone's password. After looking through the phone, he finds that the watch came from a bar, which appears to be the location of the robber's arrogance. Corsi went to the garbage room, rummaged through the clothes the young man had worn, and then went to the bar in the photo. He falsely claimed to be the young man's owner and tried to pry information out of the owner. The shopkeeper noticed the hospital tag on his clothes and hurriedly sent a distress message to his accomplice. then bent down to get his gun. Corsi overpowered him first and forced him to open the safe at gunpoint. He found the items that had been taken from his home. Just then, Corsi saw someone walk into the store on surveillance and ducked. The store owner was shot in the head. The two men then engaged in a fierce gun battle. The enemy stepped on the blood and accidentally slipped. Corsi picked up the guitar and smashed it hard at him. The enemy rushed to escape from the warehouse, but was shot in the thigh by Corsi. He stepped hard on the wound. The enemy could not stand the pain and named another robber named Joe. At this point, Kolsch was kicked to the ground by the enemy. Fate finally favored him once when the enemy was ready to kill him with a gun. He took the opportunity to complete the counter kill with his gun, and then took the hard drive to help leave the store. He accidentally left the ring at the scene. Corsi returned to the hospital to load the drugs and syringes, ready to punish the next robber. Instead, the police suddenly arrived. The police took out the ring he had left behind. Could it be that he was found out? Luckily, the police just came to tell him that there's progress in the robbery. After the police left, Kolsch went to the garage in the bridge and quietly closed the door. Kolsch picked up a large wrench and slammed it hard toward the lower body of the man. None other than Joe, his wife's murderer. The man was tied up. As a surgeon, Kolsch knew how to put a man through maximum pain. After a few rounds, Joe can no longer bear the pain and finally reveals the man behind the robbery, the ruthless mob boss Knox. Kolsch helps him untie the rope, just when he thought he could escape. Afterwards, Corsi came to the hospital to stay with his daughter and suddenly received a text message from Knox. Ask him to meet at the bar. Corsi, eager for revenge, quickly rushed to the bar, looking for Knox's body, but did not know that the danger is behind him. He dialed Knox's phone and then fired several shots at the place where the ringing sound came from. But when he kicked in the door, he only saw the phone sitting on the toilet. The enemy appeared behind him and shot Corsi. Corsi could only hide in the toilet. He shot out the power lines to cut the bar's electricity and then took advantage of the chaos to escape. That's when the police were called and someone got a full view of the shooter. The police quickly arrived at the hospital and the person who called the police turned out to be Knox. He told the police that Corsi was the mysterious Chicago shooter. After treating his wounds at the office, Corsi rushed home to find his brother Frank waiting for him. The brother has also discovered that he is the mystery shooter, and they argue loudly about it. Frank does not want his brother to have another accident. At this point, the police appear at the door and Frank rushes to help his brother cope. After the police leave, Corsi receives a call from the hospital telling him that his daughter has miraculously woken up. The two men rush to the hospital, where their daughter has just regained her life, only to face the harsh reality of losing her mother again. The two men hugged and cried. The good news is that the daughter is not seriously injured, and Corsi takes her home with him. In the elevator, and Knox narrowly met. He turned around and went into the gun store, bought a bunch of firepower weapons, because he understood that Knox will not spare them. Sure enough, later that night, the enemy knocked on the door of the room and came in. Kirsch told his daughter to hide in the stairwell, and he held a locker against the door with dead weight. A killer shot wildly toward the bed, and he lifted the covers to find no one there. He was just about to exit the room when Kirsch shot him in the head. Another assassin heard the sound and arrived and was killed by Kolsch on the floor. At this point, Kolsch hears the commotion and slowly walks into the basement. He was sneaked up on by Knox, who was hiding in the shadows. However, instead of choosing to shoot again, Knox gloats and says a lot about winning. At that moment, his daughter senses that something is wrong and shouts for help. Knox was attracted by the shouting. Corsi kicks the table to get the rifle. The police arrived at the scene only after Corsi killed all the enemies by himself. Because it was self-defense, the police could not do much to him, although the sheriff knew that he was the mystery shooter, but ultimately chose to conceal it for him. To heal the heartache, life still needs to go on, but in his own way. Kolsch continues to watch over more people.